There's a rhythm to things done right. It's not flash or fancy. It's work that weathers, bears. And through life seasons, there's the test of waiting, of seeing if old tricks can hold pace with the new. And it is then, and then, and then again, that those made well sustain. You see, good work bears its teeth to the clock. Better work is assured by it.
Hello and welcome to the StoneX Stadium for the second time, the return to the StoneX of the Varsity Match, the women's match first kicking off in around 10-15 minutes time at 12 o'clock local time. And then the men's game coming on a little bit later. It's all to play for. If you look at the form guides, well, it's only going to go one way, but we know behind us on the pitch things don't go that way. Let me introduce the panel though, and we'll get to grips with what's going on in the women's game and what to expect out here today. First of all, to my left, hello Tamara, how are you? Tamara Taylor is here, it's great to have you here.
Great to see you again.
Thank you very much, it's always a pleasure. We have Dr. Anna Stodter as well, it's great to have you here, Doctor.
Thanks for welcoming me back.
I always like to use the formal title there for Anna Stodter, and we have Rachel Burford on the end. We're going to be hearing a lot from you, aren't we, Rachel, today?
Well, hopefully, yeah, on some good play that's going to be going on in the afternoon.
Now, all three of these ladies have a huge amount of experience. It is International Women's Day, of course, and it's the 10th year since both the women's and the men's game combined for the varsity. So let's start off there with you, Anna, and talk about the women's game. I know you've got a paper about this where you've been looking at women in rugby. What can you tell us?
Well, I suppose we've been doing some research with women working in and around the sport of rugby, and one thing when you speak to women who set up the game and who set up games like the Varsity Match for women, they'll always talk about progress. Obviously this year is a home World Cup year, and as you mentioned, 10 years since the Women's Varsity Match was combined with the Men's Varsity Match, so we can see that progress in action today, and we hope that there's still more to come.
Simon, level check.
Rachel, you've been a key advocate in the women's game for a very, very long time. Not too long, obviously, but what can you tell us about the state of the game as it currently is, the women's game?
Yeah, look, I think it's in a really positive place. We're seeing growth, whether that's at grassroots, university. Days like today are really important for that, and you know the PWR in the UK is obviously really expanding the competitiveness. We're getting so many overseas players, so you know we've always known it's a really attractive sport to be part of, but every year we're seeing growth increase, whether that's investment, whether that's players participating, and days like today which are really, really important and special.
Now, Tamara, it's a World Cup year. We've given you the smallest mic as well, which I know you love, but it's a World Cup year. How key is it that rugby, women's rugby in particular, utilises a World Cup year to really encourage more women to get into this sport?
It's a super easy win, isn't it? You've got home World Cup, it's travelling around the country, it's not just staying down in London at the Allianz Stadium, so that's brilliant, great opportunity to get more fans engaged across the country. There's loads of stuff around the Impact 25, so lots of funding going in, coaches being supported. It's going to be great. The last one was 2010, which Rachel and I were both in at that final, which we enjoyed ourselves a lot, unfortunately with that narrow loss, but you know the girls are favourites this year. I think winning a home cup, if we look at New Zealand from the last World Cup, they won at home, so let's hope that we can get that again, and how much that's going to grow.
Well, it's great to have both of you here from the England perspective when it comes down to rugby. You know, winning is key, of course. Anna, you've never played in this match, the Varsity Match, neither of you two, but you have coached for Cambridge and successfully as well, more times than not. You're also involved in the first combined match, we said, with the men's and women's game combining on the same day. What is it like? How do you approach this sort of event for the girls that are going to come out on the pitch? Because a lot of them, from the Cambridge point of view, are very inexperienced.
Yeah, that's right. So only 5 returning Blues for Cambridge this year. And it's a big occasion, you know, they're not used to playing in a big stadium like this with lots of fans, and it can be overwhelming, and I suppose you draw upon the experience of the players around you, but also that makes it exciting. You know, it's an opportunity for someone who's new to the game, you're fearless, and like perhaps doesn't know like their place almost to step up and really create a moment of magic. So yeah.
They certainly need a moment of magic. We'll come to the ins and the outs in a moment. Rachel, before we let you go up to commentary, your thoughts, what are you hoping to see on the pitch behind you?
Yeah, well, I think Anna just alluded to it a bit there. You know, Cambridge aren't as experienced as what the Oxford side are today. You've got 10 returning Blues in that starting team for Oxford, and obviously the last 2 outings against Cambridge, they've come out victorious. But I think, you know, for one thing, let's recognise that this isn't the women's full occupation. This is something that is really, you know, been building, and the opportunity for them to play today. And I love the fact that some players do not know what to expect when they get out there, because often when you play in that kind of mindset, you get the best out of yourselves and you get the best out of teams, the players around you. So I think, you know, exciting opportunities will happen. There'll be moments of magic from both teams, but I do think Oxford are going to be favourites for this one.
I'm going to let you scurry up the steps to your commentary position, Rachel, and we'll hear from you in just a bit. Now, I'm going to come to you as well tomorrow, because the thought of, I think we should if we lay the foundations of this match here. Cambridge are very much on a restructuring season. They've had a lot of new players coming in, a lot of new players that, to be fair, haven't played a lot of rugby. And so that's a very hard thing for Cambridge to come into a game facing. But it also takes the pressure off them. For Oxford, they've got everything to lose, haven't they?
Yeah, and having played for England, who were successful and been the kind of Oxford in today's game, I've also played for a club team, DMP in the North East, who were the Cambridge of today, and being the underdog and having that pressure taken off you, it's fun, it's exciting. Like Anna said, you don't have that pressure to feel, oh, I'm supposed to do something. So although we may be saying that Oxford are the favourites today, that puts a lot more pressure on them. So it could be a very exciting game.
To put you into perspective, or put it into perspective, what's happened most recently, Oxford-Cambridge, well, it was a crushing defeat, really, for Cambridge, wasn't it, against Oxford, just a month and a half ago, in fact, 68-0. We don't know whether the teams will be similar for this one here, but how do the players approach that? Because they don't want to go out here and get absolutely rolled over, but they need to make a decent account of themselves, don't they, Anna?
Beautiful day, you know, a lot of them, as we said, are new to it, so it's just all about enjoying the occasion, like having a good time, and perhaps even sort of splitting the game down into smaller sections. So I know that Cambridge really back their scrum, and they would quite like to use that as a bit of a weapon, including the maul as well. So it's about trying to play their game and focus on small wins that you can get, kind of stop some of Oxford big threats, to stop them getting on the front foot and moving that ball quickly is probably what Cambridge will try and do, break the game down into smaller bits and try and get smaller wins across the pitch that will hopefully accumulate.
In the men's game, one of the captains was telling me they've looked at things called the 14 peaks, where they look at different peaks, different games. Each game is a peak, and they try and take something positive from it. So over the course of the season, it's not about the individual result of the match. They want to see gains and improvements. Bethan Jones, the captain for Cambridge, was also telling me just last week, in fact, that they did have their victory against Swansea, and they took a huge amount of encouragement from that, Anna.
Yeah, I mean, when I've been part of teams as well where you've lost pretty much every game in a season, and then when you finally actually do get that win, you see all of that hard work that you've put in and that kind of perseverance that you've put in come to fruition. It's amazing, and you hold on to that feeling and you learn from all of those mistakes, and hopefully, you know, you can put that into a performance on the day-to-day.
4 wins in 12, though, for Oxford. And Alex Wilkinson, their captain, was telling me just that they've grown in the team, they've grown in confidence. The 4 wins mean they know they can do it. They know they can do it against Cambridge. I always point to you, Anna. Cambridge, I'm sorry. And as we say, it's all going to be about maintaining some consistency out on the pitch behind, and not letting complacency take hold, which could happen.
Yeah, I don't think any players ever go in thinking, oh, we've got this. I do think that the occasion, the fans, the girls that haven't played here before, it is a big pitch. There is a strong wind that will come down to this corner behind us. So it'll be a bit about playing the conditions as well for the girls that are maybe a little bit more experienced, that could sort of tell in one of the halves when they're going in that direction.
We've already written Cambridge off, and we shouldn't do that, because it is a fresh start. When the clock starts at 0-0, anything can happen in the next 80 minutes, and I'm delighted to say we are ready to welcome the players out onto the pitch in just a few moments' time. Before that, though, we're going to hand back up to Rachel Burford, who's made her way all the way up behind us just there, but first of all, to Simon Ward.
Welcome everybody to Northwest London as we once again get set for a Varsity Duels duo here at the StoneX, home of Saracens, of course. The women's game kicking off in a few moments' time, the men's game kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are absolutely proud and delighted to welcome the iconic Australian bootmakers RM Williams as the official partners of the Varsity Matches, with their stores now open in Cambridge and London. It's great to have you guys with us. Such a great identity for everybody concerned with the varsity, and in particular the women's varsity to start with. The crowd beginning to build as we get set for this first match of the doubleheader. Let's take a look at the two lineups, beginning with Oxford. There are a dozen Blues in that starting lineup, for whom last year's close defeat no doubt still rankles. Last year's captain Sophie Shams moves up the spine of the team, so to speak, to take responsibility at number 8. She's got this year's skipper Alex Wilkinson in her ear at scrum half, with Chloe Marie Hawley back in varsity action at 10. The centres are new, but that pack is very experienced. Only Loosehead and Walker is new to this fixture. We look at the light blue lineup. It's the flip side of that experience coin, really. There are only a handful of Blues in that squad. The pack has plenty of power, which may set the table for athletic number 8 Ali Mae Brown to show her best moves. Both halfbacks and back three are varsity newbies, so the voice and steering of Phoebe Jackson will be vital to their cause this afternoon. Now, neither side are satisfied with their seasons thus far, but the reference points, of course, are the two Bucks Premier games between them that have had resounding wins for the Dark Blues, and the psychological impact of that will be massive, you would think, going into this big game. Alongside me, well, it's only right on International Women's Day that we've got one of the women that I think has had exemplifies that in international rugby, Rachel Burford. Burf, now you've recovered from coming up all those steps, but up to the thin air of the commentary gantry. I mentioned the two previous games that these two have already had this season. For both of them, I guess, they have got to try and forget that, particularly for the first 10-15 minutes, and reset their table in this game.
Absolutely right. I think when you come into a game where you maybe have won or you've lost that game, today's a very different beast, isn't it? It's the varsity. It's such a huge occasion for all of these women being involved, but I think you want to come out clean slate, be able to approach this game with a fresh mindset to go after it.
Well, that will be the message that the coaches, Will Cottrell and Johnny Andrews for the Light Blues, Scott Hall, the new head coach for Oxford Women, along with Mark Darlington, Alex Wolford and Lou Gray, part of their new coaching committee. And they've got to make sure that heads are in the right place to start this game, as Alex Wilkinson and Bethan Jones lead out their charges. This is it. This is the big day that the season is about. In many ways, you can forget all the matches that have preceded it. This is a cup final, and it's the next 80 minutes that makes or breaks their season. Both teams looking for that spark, that bit of pizzazz that could make the difference. As you can see from the flags, there is a stiff breeze blowing right to left as we're looking. Alex Wilkinson has won the toss and is going to kick off with that breeze behind her. First up, the national anthem. formalities are done. Time to get heads and bodies into gear. Rachel Burford, you've stood for many a national anthem. In many ways, that must be the toughest part of the game, because by the time you actually hit the track, you just want to get out and get on with it, don't you?
Yeah, but it's truly a special moment to be singing the national anthem. It really kind of gets you going, gets you excited, brings everybody closer together. And now it's all about the focus. Quick huddle, chat, just to work through, make some key messages about what they need to do in order, because both of these teams are going to want to start really well, start strong. Obviously Oxford with that wind advantage and coming into this with that mindset. We've been able to beat Cambridge already this season. What can they do from here?
It's the big day, the cup final for Oxford and Cambridge. Varsity 2025 is underway. Referee Casey Allen says let's go, and Sophie Shams with the start to this game. Going to be very interesting to see how Shams operates with a single digit on her back, but of course we've known her for so many years playing at 12.
Yeah, she's always a key player for them, isn't she? A real leader, was captain previously as well, moving into that number 8 anchor role.
Yeah, it's an interesting change of operation for, well, Wilkinson of course still at 9, but you put Shams in at 8 and you've got Hawley back at 10 for Oxford, and that is a very experienced trio to run things for the Dark Blues. Right now, Morgan Warner, the Morgatron, as the Canadian hooker is known. LEXI invites Bethan Jones to try and get them up towards halfway. There's Jackson wearing 12. Oxford able to snaffle that attack, but illegally so. Again, Cambridge unable to get up over halfway, but keeping the ball and looking for a bit of momentum out wide. On that occasion, Sophie Martin couldn't keep hold of the ball, and we get set for the first scrum of the day. And this is an area where Cambridge will feel they may have an advantage. Certainly they've got plenty of power in that forward pack, and this is where they've got to try and utilise it.
Yeah, exactly. They've got good experience there in Heathfield and Jones. Actually really good to see the width that Cambridge are putting on the ball. They're moving the ball nicely. You can see they want to play expansive, perfect conditions for that. But you've got to be able to secure your set piece.
Shams picks up. Wilkinson slides through a gap. She's got numbers outside her. It's Lena Berry. Good tackle, bringing her down 6 metres short. Shams in at first receiver, and that is a position I suspect we'll see a lot of the former Ealing trail finder this afternoon. Look at the numbers out to the left though. Hawley can't get the ball through the tackle, but there's a high shot, I think, from Safi Shoei. Advantage is still there. This time Casey Allen takes them back.
11, high. Bring it down, please.
It was a quality break, wasn't it, from Wilkinson. Been talked about a lot from her experience, and Shams and her working together at the back of that got that initial line break into the corner, but brilliant tackle from Smith just to close it down, but pressure still on here.
Hawley just unable to take that dipping pass, and the moment has passed for Oxford, so Cambridge will look to try and manipulate the ball now to get out of their 22. Ella Heathfield, the winning try, of course, last year came from the Cambridge tight head. What a match that was. I don't really remember back a year ago, Berth, but 5-10 at half-time, and we had no points in the second half. That was a real arm wrestle of a contest. Not sure whether that'll be replicated today, certainly on what we've seen in those two Bucks games. Oxford ran in 17 tries, 90 points in the two games, and Cambridge unable to get across the line or get any points on the board. So they've got to just get themselves sorted here under defensive mode now as Oxford try and get the drive going. Michelle Zegda. Hawley. Terry Kennedy just getting her eye off the ball for the moment, and that's twice now in a similar position that the Oxford 10 and 12 have just been unable to keep the move going.
Yeah, it's a real shame because they had a massive overlap on that right-hand side, but you know when you're 5 meters out from your line, you know exactly what the defence is going to do. They're going to come flying, they're going to try and rush you and force those errors, as you saw there, getting off the line, putting pressure on, and then that's where the error comes in. Just slowly takes our eye off the ball, and it's enough to make the error.
And good D from Cambridge to get up in their eye line as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been under so much pressure in this opening 5 minutes, but keep forcing Oxford to make the errors.
Glazer. Cambridge lining up unilaterally to the left. The kick is partially charged down, and if Oxford go left, there's huge gaps out there. Katie Haynes, who scored an amazing 40-metre try in the game at Iffley Road, is all on her lonesome on this left wing. Lovely little pop pass to open the door for Zegda. Now the ball comes left. Hawley again. Unforced errors from the Oxford midfield, just hampering. Maybe there's a bit of nerves in there. It would be understandable if that was the case.
Yeah, of course, it's a big day for both teams, so there will be nerves in there. You know, it's the pressure coming from and forcing them to play early. Just getting a little bit flat. If they give themselves a little bit more depth, that means they've got a little bit more time on the ball to move it to those outside channels. They are shortening up Cambridge.
Crouch!
Chloe Marie Hawley, who's returning to the 10 shirt after victory 2 years ago, the last game at Twickenham. Wasn't involved in varsity last year. Annie Mae Brown. Now this lady has got power and plenty of pace given the opportunity.
Hands again. Hands. So rock, hands.
Casey Allen just making sure that Sophie Shams understood the call.
Yeah, it was a good run, wasn't it, from Annie Mae Brown off the base. Making some good yards, good support in there, which then formed the ruck, and rightly so from Casey Allen. As the ruck's form, you can't put your hands in the ruck. It's really good game management, hasn't it been so far? Really organised to get themselves out of this position, just working their way up the pitch. Cambridge showing some really good resilience early on in this game.
I remember last year we were talking about the 2-8s. One was Lauren Webb for Oxford and Emily Bell for Cambridge, and they were critical in the way that game played out in many ways. I think we could have a similar scenario here with the 2-8s we're viewing in this game.
Not straight.
The wind just turning the ball into a frisbee there.
Scrum called, ladies.
The Shams and Annie Mae Brown have got that dynamic that, given the space, given the opportunity, can
crosses the middle,
put their team onto the attack within 2 steps.
Yeah, exactly, and you know that Shams has got really good handling ability, played in the back line on a number of occasions, normally a centre, so can link up really well with the back line too.
Crouch!
Plenty of experience on her CV as well, DMP. Couple of years here at Saracens, Ealing Trailfinders as well. Henley Hawks, she's been playing for as well. As is Alex Wilkinson. Hawley steps inside. Lucy Hamer.
Offside, 15 blue.
And again, the Oxford backline just a bit jittery with ball in hand. Ali Mae Brown gets her team up over halfway for the first time in this contest. 9 minutes on the clock. Alina McGregor, the fly half for Cambridge this afternoon. Shams gets the offload in to Clara Stromstead. The Danish second row, once again, victorious 2 years ago. Back injury last year precluded her from being involved. Shams goes a-wandering. Comes back from where she started, and Alex Wilkinson looks to the left. Again, the passing just not quite accurate, and Cambridge able to pick up the scraps. Heathfield.
Advantage over.
Boot away. Time for Lucy Hamer to have a look. She's been trapped by Alice Yao, and Yao gets her prey. And for the first time, the light blues go into the opposition 22. Zegda drives and happy to do the hard yards, as is that lady, Tolly Duckworth.
Penalty 9 must roll.
And the Glazier's being pinged here, so there'll be a chance for Oxford to clear their lines in any case.
No advantage, 9 white roll. Time off.
Well, everybody just taking a breather. 11 minutes on the clock, no points on the board. And Cambridge will be happy that they've held out their opposition and got over halfway so that they can get their attacking game into some sort of operation.
Yeah, well, I think if you consider how much possession Oxford have and how many opportunities they had in the 22, and for Cambridge to deny them on multiple occasions, they'll be feeling pretty confident in that huddle. I think defensively, the back three for Cambridge have been outstanding, reading the plays really well, getting up, making their tackles. Been an impressive start from Cambridge.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for the Light Blues, no question about that. Bethan Jones, the captain, knew it was going to be different. So many PhDs, so many postgrads disappearing from the club, and it meant that they had to rebuild. Such is the cycle of varsity rugby. They had to rebuild, and indeed, it wasn't until the 6th game at Swansea they actually got points on the board this season. That try from Charlotte Lord made all the difference, and indeed got the first win against Swansea at the end of January. According to Beth, that created a hunger.
End of the white.
And there was a good performance in the loss against the 88s, the old girls club that came to Grange Road. So maybe they feel like they've turned a corner, and there's a bit more confidence coursing through those veins. Good line out from Oxford. Shams in midfield.
Knock on
Again.
advantage.
It's a recurring theme so far in the first quarter of an hour of this game.
White scrum.
Yeah, from an Oxford perspective, you'd be hugely frustrated. The number of errors that have creeped into the first part of this game. I think that Sophie Shams dummied so many times, she tricked her own teammate.
Crouch.
Just took her eye off the ball, but this gives a great platform now for Cambridge to strike from.
Set.
Glazier gets it out to McGregor, but it's Phoebe Jackson who's having to do the hard yards there. From
No
Izzy
hands.
Miller, and they get the call.
7 and 1 must roll. 7 and 1 must roll. Just in front.
Just a couple of breakdown penalties creeping in for Oxford. What can Cambridge do from here?
Up into enemy territory. The call comes from the captain, Bethan Jones. played in every position in that forward pack except hooker. That's the flexibility that we know is more prominent in the women's game, but she really has got flexibility in her skill level and her physical attributes. Here's Ella Heathfield.
Penalty advantage, offside.
Good to see her back after that long-term knee injury that she suffered.
Hold that mark, Jenny.
Just losing the ball in
No
the contact. They'll
advantage.
go back for the advantage call.
In the middle. Blue 7, offside.
Again, another discipline issue for Oxford.
Just in front. There you are.
Sophie Shams might be needing to have a word of her team. It's just right in Cambridge into the game. You talk about a lovely special play
Oh,
there.
I like that. I'm not sure that it achieved an awful lot because Oxford were 10 metres back, but
It
I
looked
like
good. It looked good.
I like the dynamic. McGregor walks into an Oxford cul-de-sac but lays the ball back for her scrum half partner. And Heathfield again. She wants to get ball in hand, doesn't she?
Yeah, their pack's doing really well, getting around the corner, being direct, but look at the soft touches as well.
Knock on. No advantage. Knock on only.
Just unable to stick in
Alexis
the
at that breakdown.
mitts of Sophie
Please clean it up.
Martin.
That's 3 penalties
Which is
up.
unusual because she plays cricket for the university as well, so known for having good hands.
Just heard Casey Allen, the referee, speaking to Wilkinson about the number of ruck penalties that needs to be tidied up. It'll be interesting to see what Oxford do off this scrum. They've run the same play but changed the options.
Bind! In, please, 8. Set!
Wilkinson. Kennedy's in as the first receiver. Now it's Hawley stepping in. Kennedy cuts back. They keep going to the right. Wilkinson. The wind, I think, is a bit stronger than they
Straight out.
thought.
Thank you.
Chrissy Clark, the assistant referee on
White
that
line
far
then.
side, having to trot back to the 10-metre line. And that kick for Wilkinson. Great to see her
You're
on the
white
park.
line.
I think what's happened
Yes, please.
to her through the course of this season, pretty much lost her left-hand side this year. Ankle injury, broke her hand against Bristol. So a real relief in many ways for Oxford that their captain is starting this game. And of course such a key cog in the way that they work. Morgan Warner. Cambridge forwards happy to keep it as direct as possible.
Backwards!
Backline
That ball has taken back. Has taken
at the
back
moment,
9.
similar problems in both backlines to get the flow to their attack, to get the momentum.
It's not in the way currently if it becomes an option. An
If
issue,
your back's on doing it, do it yourself, says Ella Heathfield.
7's kicked it off, thank you.
Especially in this position of the pitch, you need your forwards to be really direct, get a good platform so you can exit from.
Yeah, and a good clearance from Phoebe Jackson. Played at 10, of course, in the varsity 2 years ago. Member of
That's your mark,
Jesus
White.
College. She's just done her polar studies. She's now studying a PhD in Antarctic glaciology at the Scott Polar Research Institute. Good to see her back
Ladies,
on
numbers
this
5,
park.
5.
Had her primary focus of tennis, also athletics, of course. She's runs 800 and 1500 metres on the track during the summer, cross country in the colder months. Shams just striding through that tackle. Wilkinson, Hawley getting through one, looking for the support. Oxford looking to this short side. Again, the pass just not hitting the target. And Oxford just unable at the moment to settle that back line.
Yeah, I think there's moments that we're seeing a great brilliance, you know, winning their set piece, great carry from Shams up through the middle. Lovely little take from Wilkinson round the corner, nice and sharp, but then just that final last pass, that communication breakdown potentially.
Ladies.
Some players not expecting the offloads or players to keep the ball alive. You can see what they're trying to do. And like any game, teams do often take time to build into it, and hopefully we'll see some of those sticking.
Morgan Warner, another Polish studies student. She's at King's Hall. And 5 years at the University of Victoria back in her homeland. Zoe Wright.
Yes.
Good to see the 18-year-old there as
Sorry, I was answering that question. You're good. Thank you.
Jackson finds the exit she was after. It's a great quote from that lady there. She loves the old girl community, the alumni community of Cambridge. Such a family. This is the quote: "It's like a team that never stops being a team." I love that. There's our referee, Casey Allen, just
Thank you, though.
checking. Certain people choking on water as
Ladies,
there's
let's start to form.
a bit of
Let's start to form.
attention.
She's in their backfield. Let's start to form.
Michelle Ziegler, Warner's opposite number. Going to be a helicopter pilot in the US Army when she finishes her research in oncology.
Ladies.
3 blues at soccer, so multi-talented sportswoman.
Backwards.
Shams unable to make any headway, but then gets the leg drive going. There is Zegda. Paulie. Oxford options left and right. Shams is there to feed out to Katie Haynes. Katie Haynes is going to get the first try of the game at the end of the first quarter. It's Oxford who break their bagel. Shams well aware of the opportunity of her left winger, and Katie Gaines, as she's known in the group, makes the most of the opportunity and the space in front of her.
Well, Cambridge has certainly made them work hard for that try, but no surprise to see Shams involved there, was it? She's been everywhere on the pitch so far, recognises on the left-hand side of the pitch here. And the ball comes to her, wasn't expecting it, and stays really calm and composed and finds Haynes. She's still got a lot of work to do here. Free covering defenders coming across, little in and away. Perfect drawing pass from Shams, just what you want. Haynes doesn't have to break her stride at all, and they finally get on the scoreboard.
Yep, the biochemist from Lincoln College doing all she needed to do. Morley unable to add the extras from out wide. This wind is quite strong behind Oxford backs, so no great surprise, I suppose, that we've seen the majority of the action in this first quarter inside the Cambridge half.
Yeah, you want to be able to, whenever you're picking your side to play against, you want to take the win because it just gives you that extra advantage. So challenging to be able to kick clearly out of your own 22, but Cambridge have done exceptionally well up until that try to manage that. But Oxford will be hoping for more.
Phoebe Jackson taking a good step towards the Oxford post with that restart. Now gets the ball back. Jackson goes a wandering up the left flank, just seeing if there is the merest gap that she can sidle her way through. Heathfield takes a more direct approach. No thoughts of a sidestep from the big tight head. Done a really good job so far with ball in hand. There's the 18-year-old second row, Zoe Wright. Played a fair bit of rugby in her time, right just up the road, in fact, at Valerians, and had a year at Grasshoppers as well. So maybe a little unusually in the women's varsity, coming in as a fresher with rugby experience on her CV. Duckworth with plenty of experience on hers, earning her third blue this afternoon. Zegda Gets the ball through the tackle and offloads to Stuart Roberts. Out it goes to Lillaberry.
Just a head right behind you, ladies.
Head knock brings the immediate whistle from referee Allen, as it should do.
Time's off.
That try seems to have instigated Oxford a bit. They've got settled their moves down, simplified in some ways, and now there is a flow to the dark blue attack.
Yeah, you do feel that it's just settled them slightly, but Zegda and Duckworth being really direct, getting them on the front foot, which then allows them to be able to play. You don't need to be as deep if you're really making, you know, yards defensively, getting in behind. But yeah, you do feel that has settled them slightly.
Are they both staying? Happy for them to stay?
Both the Cambridge girls able to continue. It's going to be an Oxford put in though. Attacking options presumably all to the left for Alex Wilkinson.
Yep.
Formerly, of course, of Wasps and England under-20s. Very proficient rugby player, no question about that. And having chatted with her over coffee, an inspirational person as well.
Bind! In please, 8. Set!
Good shove from the Cambridge 8, but the ball's still there for their opposition. Little pop ball to Poppy Burrows. And Fresher playing it outside centre. Hawley gets the call from Madison Quigg. Quigg sets it back. Quick ball is there. Again, they throw out to Haynes. This time she is taken down. Brian Smith making sure that her target was not going to get past her on that occasion. And indeed, it's come back on the light blue side, down in that bottom corner.
Line's yours, White.
There's a certain survival feel for Cambridge right now, with the wind being so strong, the sun in their eyes. If they could get through the next quarter of an hour or so without yielding too many points, I suspect they'll be fairly happy with that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're still in the danger zone at the moment, but the desire and the determination, even when Oxford are coming knocking on the door, they're not giving any inches quickly, and they managed to get a turnover again in the 22.
Yeah, Clara Stromstead holding the ball on for too long for the referee's liking. So Phoebe Jackson has another chance to try and get her team, well, up the pitch slightly. It's never going to be a long kick from that angle, and also with the elements coming straight at her.
Yeah, it's challenging into the wind here, but you just see, just gets isolated there. Support not quick enough.
Not straight, outside arm.
It is playing a game of frisbee, trying to throw into the line out at the moment, isn't it? It's nigh on impossible to get a dart throw with this breeze coming through.
It's challenging, but that's where you need your leaders to be able to step up and say, let's hit the front ball, don't even need to go up, which was successful on their first line out, which just gives you a platform. It secures the ball and gives you an opportunity to play from.
Crouch!
Quarter of an hour to go until the break.
Set!
Shams letting her pack take her a little bit further forward. A little show and go, but she's not gone, she's still there. Wilkinson feeds out to Zegda, revs the engine a bit. Shams again, makes the call, head down and drive. Hawley tries to cut back against the weaker arm. A loopy pass. Luckily for Wilkinson, finds Poppy Burrows. They drive again. Numbers to the left if they get it out. And guess who? Katie Haynes. It's Katie Gaines once again. It's double bubble for the Oxford number 11. Well worked up front by the Oxford forwards. And then they find their left winger in acres of space to get their team into double digits.
Much better patience from the Oxford team. Just going through the phases here, being direct, looking after the ball. And here, Zegda, she's been so good at carrying and being such a threat that the players stick on her, and she does a simple draw and pass to the outside to Haynes again. This time a bit of an easier run-in for her, but 10 points to her name.
Yes, very, very well worked. Scott Hall will be delighted with that, as will Alex Walford, the attack coach. No conversion to add. Now, Cambridge sub coming on, I think, is Cara Haspel. Looking to see, I think there was a head knock that they're concerned about. Looks to me like it's Alina McGregor. So Phoebe Jackson will move into that pivotal fly half role, a role that she's very familiar with, of course. And the Hockey Blue will be coming into the midfield, where she's made a big impression so far this season. And with Charlotte Lord, another crossover hockey player. Jackson, Madison Craig picks and goes and drives, and before they know it, Cambridge are back in their own half.
Knock on advantage.
Knock on no. Gives the chance for Zoe Wright.
No advantage. Knock on.
So Cambridge just realigning that back line, just looking to see where Haspel's going to fit in. Looks like she's going into the outside centre role, with Alice Yao moving in to take the feed from Jackson.
Bind! Set!
Oh, big shove from the Oxford 8 this time. Ball still there for the light blues. Glazier feeds out to Jackson. Heathfield appearing in midfield. Yao, good run. Can she get the offload going? Cambridge now stretching across to the left. Warner, Jackson, Wright. Stopped on halfway.
Thank you.
Jackson changes the options. Wilkinson waiting. Jackson takes it down, and the ball is there for the light blues. Now they've got numbers to the right.
Thank you.
You need to get that transference a bit quicker. Warner resets though. Glazier. There is Cara Haspel.
Leave it 12.
Right, finding no way through. Heathfield and Jackson once again looking to wider channels. The pass from Yo was always going to go into the midst of Lena Berry there.
Lost now.
She anticipated and read it well.
Offside.
And here come Oxford now. Zegda. No thoughts of a sidestep from the big hooker.
You have an option here or an option over there. Which one would you like? That's your call. One spot where your player is with the knee pad. There?
Let's go, Blues.
Well, Cambridge getting some continuity into their game without actually getting the thrust to go north-south.
Offside. This player.
Yeah, it's a real shame because they actually created some opportunities for themselves. Lovely break from Yao down this right-hand side, which then opened up some space on the left. Just not the ability to get the ball there, not enough numbers recycling to give them that width to play to that outside. And then you have to commend the defensive effort from Oxford. Stayed really strong, filled the field really well, which then forced Cambridge to kick.
Must mention it's great to have RM Williams with us as our sponsor, long been the first choice for sportsmen, adventurers and leaders, and proudly stands with us today in support of the next generation of varsity rugby greats. And who knows, there may be one of them. That's Zoe Wright, just 18 years of age. Rose for the college. Oh, Lily Berry's away. Nobody's going to get to her. But the left wing's got two. Now the right wing's got one. And Oxford finding joy down the flanks.
Well, it's a brilliant read from Berry. Just got in between the passing channel. Cambridge managed to secure that possession, but slowed the ball down so much, which just allows Oxford to organise, be able to read the play here. Just watch her get off the line, gets in between the channel, and then she's got the wheels to finish whilst being hunted by all the Cambridge players. Really good read there. Unfortunate there for Warner, but great finish from Berry.
Berry, a Cambridge local, would you believe? Went to Hills Road, sixth form, played for Cambridge Rugby Club and Shelford Rugby Club, a bit further up the road. Returned from a year abroad, placement at Spanish University Salamanca to make sure she was here for this one. And she's already made a mark. She's in the history books. And Oxford with that 15-0 lead into the last 10 minutes of this first half. Oxford won 4 of their 12 games this season, have been working so hard to use pretty much that experience from last season. They've restructured their game, wider game, faster, playing in the right areas, and that's what we've seen in the first half an hour or so of this match. Zegda sets her sat-nav to go to the other post and go straight forward. Out it goes to Berry once again. Oxford trying to turn the screw now in the last 5 minutes of this first half and get maximum reward for the wind advantage and sun advantage that they've got. Good hands from Quigg. Break from Hawley, but she can't get the ball clear.
No hands! Right.
Safi Shoei apologising to the referee for picking the ball up at the wrong time. Good intent, but wrong execution.
Yeah, sometimes it's just there, isn't it? And you can't help yourself. But how good has Zegda been? Straight through the middle, massive carry, gets her team into the opposition half. And brilliant clear by Shams to secure the ball. But you do feel that things are really starting to shape and go the right way for Oxford.
Well, the 27-year-old American has been pivotal in the thrust and the go forward that the Dark Blues have had.
Yep, that's
4 years at the US West Point Academy, playing mostly round ball, but certainly has made an impact over in this country with the oval
6
ball.
or 5? Perfect.
One of the 8 Oxford girls that playing her last game this afternoon. Of course, all the exams start ratcheting up once they get into Trinity term. Quigg, another one who will be leaving to start medical school in America next year. Carla Stromstead. Duckworth drives. So difficult to get down. That's good tackling. I think that was Glazier who took the big tight head down there. There comes Zegda.
Penalty advantage, white 12 offside.
And now Oxford have sorted out their handling issues. It is relentless the way that they're flowing through from right and left. Hawley has to go back into the mix. Estella Murka winning her first blue this afternoon. There's her prop colleague Duckworth.
That's gone forward.
Yeah, the netball pass from Duckworth just not helping the flow there. Duckworth is such an impressive operator, whichever row of the pack she's played in. Back from her elective in Ghana to play in this one. Shams, oh, just cannot find Burrows. And there's a try gone begging, you feel, for the Dark Blues.
Penalty advantage, offside 8. Offside 8.
No try, and they will get the offside call as well. Cambridge with a chance to breathe before they head for the hutches.
It wasn't a bad option from Wilkinson there to go quickly, but you've got to make sure everybody else is on the same page. See the frustration from the Oxford bench and the staff on the sideline. You know, Oxford should be 2 to 3 more tries up in this game, but Cambridge has just been forcing those errors. And they've been holding on.
Thank you.
Last couple of minutes for Cambridge to survive. Walnut, who was playing for the British Columbia Provincial Senior Women's Team before coming over to Cambridge. Again, the handling in midfield.
Advantage, scrum blue.
And Brian Smith apologising to her teammates there. And it's been, well, a feature probably of both sides. Oxford seem to have sorted their handling issues out, but Cambridge just need to make the ball stick. And you see Smith putting on the brakes before she took the ball, and that's what resulted in the knock-on and this opportunity.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? You can see they've got ambition, they want to play to the edges, but you've got to be patient and hold your running line, because slightly overcooked it, then she's reaching for the ball. But fortunately for them, Oxford have come up with another error.
You're all good.
Well, Smith, who played in the Rugby League varsity for the last 3 years, getting her first dose of the 15-player code. Miller, another with a crossover in her mind. She went to Oxford High School, former national gymnast, plays their rugby at Chinna Rugby Club, the club of the opposition coach, Scott Hall. Cambridge trying to close the door a bit nearer halfway. We've got a matter of seconds now as Big Ben signals the end of the first half. And much as Oxford have got all the points on the board, you suspect, looking at the Cambridge side, that they're not too disheartened by that.
No, I think you saw them congratulating each other at the end. You know, really critical time in the game not to concede again. Managed to get themselves out of that pressure zone. As you say, they've got the wind against them, lacked possession in that half as well. So yeah, they'll be going into the changing rooms feeling fairly confident, knowing that they've got work to do, but also with that wind advantage, what could they make of that?
So Oxford with 3 tries on the board thanks to their wingers, Lila Berry and Katie Haynes, and it gives a healthy half-time advantage for the Dark Blues, but as we keep saying, they'll be up against the elements in the final 40 of this game. Let's just take a look at the tries, and it was Shams, the conduit, who fed her left winger had it all to do, Katie Haynes, but she has got confidence in her finishing ability.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you see her get the ball, she knows what she's doing. She's not thinking of backing off. She goes for the outside. And here you just see Sham. She's actually pointing the other way because there's not a number advantage here, but does enough to draw in the edge defender and feed Hines. As you say there, 3 defenders coming across. Doesn't give up the fight and gets over.
You had to wait a while for that try. 19 minutes were on the clock. The forwards had worked so hard to set the opportunity to stretch the Cambridge defensive line for that first score. Here's the second one. And again, it's the forwards led by Zegda. Michelle Zegda has been so impressive. There she was feeding the left winger on that occasion.
It's just super impressive, isn't it? The vision there, you see her scan to the outside, see that the space is on, know who's there, and then manages to execute the skill as well.
And the smile says it all, doesn't it? That's a left winger's Christmas card.
Absolutely. Run it in. And quite often not, you might see the forward taking it on themselves, but sees the space, sees the opportunity, and executes. I mean, she's been brilliant, Zegda, throughout the game.
And her wingmate was just worried that she wasn't seeing enough ball, so she went and pilfered Cambridge ball. And Lila Berry has the pace and the stride to make the most of those opportunities.
Well, like all good wingers, if the ball's not coming down your channel, you go looking for it. Super impressive to see her just get it up, read that pass, see what they were planning, and then gets in between the channel and then can finish it off with the speed that she's got.
Yes, Oxford finding joy down both flanks, got the pace to make it count, and Berry with the anticipation to make sure she was able to maximise that opportunity. And it's Oxford who are on the board in good style at half-time. Cambridge with it all to do, but maybe this is going to be a game of 2 halves. Who knows? Let's go down pitch side and join Bryn Lucas and his guest. Bryn?
Thanks very much there, Simon. Yeah, what a half we just saw there. It wasn't the onslaught maybe that we were hinting to maybe at the start, and I think when we look at it, Anna, you've got to be pleased with that from the Cambridge point of view. They held on. The first 5 minutes they were battered, and then they start to find a way through it.
Absolutely. So they lasted about 20 minutes before letting in any points, and there's great sort of spirit shown there. And we saw that when Cambridge were putting pressure on Oxford in the 22, Oxford were making some mistakes, so a few little knock-ons, and Cambridge have to just sort of celebrate those small wins and just like keep putting that pressure on because it was starting to pay off.
Yeah, it was the 10-12, wasn't it? It was Hawley and Kennedy that were really struggling, making a few mistakes, but in really crucial moments for Oxford. They were looking like they were maybe almost about to go over the line, then a handling error, and it went back to Cambridge each time.
Yeah, we spoke about it before the game, how that pressure might get to Oxford. Certainly they were camped in the 22 of Cambridge. They've got the wind with them. Everything looked to be going in Oxford's direction. Couple of handling errors, but actually I think both teams have calmed down into the game a little bit more. Cambridge have had a bit more ball. Oxford, as we've seen now through those certainly 2 out of the 3 tries, they just moved the ball really calmly.
That's it, and they can seem to move the ball more quickly as well, which is crucial, finding the way through. But for Cambridge, though, it hasn't been all doom and gloom. Yes, they're 15-0 down at half-time, but they have made a decent account of themselves at this stage, and there have been opportunities for them to break the lines, and maybe they need to just be a bit more brave. I don't know what the word would be.
Yeah, they've had a bit of success with those little tip passes out the back. So Oxford have got really great line speed, but we've noticed it's been quite narrow, so there are some gaps just beyond that little seam. So Cambridge have started to make the most of that, but then it's getting that quick ball off those carries. They've had some good carries from Ali Mae Brown, number 8, off the scrum, and so I guess Cambridge will be looking to make the most of that even more and then build up those phases. So they've, like you said, had some glimmers of hope, but it's then just stringing that together with the next, what's next.
We often talk how good the right foot or left foot is as well. The players we were talking before we started going live here, of what the Cambridge back line was going to be like and just how good they are at kicking. We looked at Phoebe Jackson, she answered our questions immediately. She's got a decent right foot on her, hasn't she?
She certainly has, and I know I'm obsessed with the wind at the stadium, but they will have the wind in the second half. She got a lot of distance on 2 of the kicks into the wind in that first half, and she's tried to get a few tactical kicks in once they've got sort of over that halfway line, trying to get them a little bit more territory. If she does that again in this second half, we've already seen the defence from Cambridge pinning Oxford back. I think they could put a lot more pressure on.
We've mentioned a couple of players that have caught your eye. Who else out there is making a bit of an impact on this game from either side?
Obviously, Sophie Shams is hard to ignore. Third time playing in the varsity match, and a really great assist for the first try. We were talking about how great it was or how great it must be to have a number 8 who can also act as that link player, someone that's played in the backs in the previous varsity match, and so you can tell from her distribution, but also kind of good running. That's a key strength for them.
Former captain too, she's got a huge amount of experience. Looking at where Cambridge can go from here, they huffed and puffed a bit, and then it looked like they ran out of ideas near the end of that first half.
Yeah, we were just speaking about that. Sometimes when your season has been very defensive, you haven't won that many games, as we know Cambridge have had that issue this year. When you do get the ball in attack and you're hanging on to it, you're building phases, you sometimes get to a point where you've not done that many times in the season. Sounds a bit weird, but it actually does take practice to go, right, where are we looking, where's the opportunities? And that was just where that intercept came from in the last 5 minutes of this half.
Certainly was. We looked at the 2 tries, or the 3 tries earlier on, in fact, just before we came down to us. Simon was talking through them. Katie Haynes seems to find a lot of space out on the left-hand side, and then we looked across at the other side, and it was Leela Berry who went through on the right-hand side. But it is the wings, they're finding the space out on left and right, and maybe Cambridge needs to be a bit more aware of that.
Yeah, and I think they probably are aware, but because Oxford have some pretty big ball carriers, we've got Tolu Duckworth at number 3, he's made some great meters. Hooker as well has made loads of meters. Once Cambridge have sort of got a bit sucked in trying to deal with those threats, Oxford on the front foot, and that means that the space opened up elsewhere. So Cambridge have done really well to fight and make some great tackles off that line, but they just need to keep going and get that spacing right so that they're covering the whole pitch.
We set this one up at the very start that we thought that Cambridge were going to struggle. They haven't struggled as much as we thought, because they've made a really decent account of themselves. Put your coaching hats on then, and we'll do you for Cambridge, Anna, but we'll come to Oxford first of all. Let's just say, if you were the Oxford's coach, what would you be saying to the team out there in the change room right now, getting their heads right for this second half?
Probably keep going in terms of building phases, because actually Cambridge are getting quite tight. So look after the ball, keep using the forwards, because like Anna said, they're making some really good meters, and then look for the space. So both tries, the first 2 tries were on the short side, so on the blind side. You've got someone like Sophie Shams feeding a winger. She was involved in both of those tries from a passing point of view. So I'd say keep the patience when you've got the ball, and then look to move it wide, but be aware of that kick.
What about from Cambridge's point of view then, Anna? Because it's not all over. It's 15-0. There's a whole lot to play for still here. They have found occasion where they've been able to break the lines. What would be going on in there right now? What would you be saying?
Well, Cambridge have a game plan. It is not what they expected, if that makes sense. So they'll be probably coming back to those key points, trying to really stop those big runners at source, trying to stop Oxford getting on that front foot and covering that whole pitch in defence. But then in attack, we've seen some great scrums from Cambridge, and we did get them all, which they made some ground from as well. So I think it's coming back to the things that they know that they can control and building on those. And like we said, there's some space on the wings for Cambridge as well. So it's about building up those phases, connecting up to what's next, and try and make the most of that space. You
said before the match that it was all about taking moments, looking at breaking the game down into maybe 10-minute sections, and I guess that's what Cambridge need to keep on doing, break it down into 10-minute sections and then see where they are. But of course, if they're going to get anything from this, they need to score, and they need to score first in the second half. Yeah, absolutely. So if they do manage to get into the 22, take any opportunity that you can just to get over that line, or even kick for post if that becomes an option. You want to avoid getting nilled, especially in a varsity match like this. So do anything you can, basically. It was so close here last year, 10-5. There were no tries in the second half last year. Let's hope we get at least one this time round. Let's hope Cambridge get one on the board. Final thoughts, Tamara? Look for the kicks, look for the wind. Look for the kicks, look for the wind. There you go. Back up to Simon and to Rachel for the second half.
There speaks a second row. Look for the kicks and look for the wind. As long as you're playing in opposition territory, that's the name of the game, and it'll be very interesting to see how tactically the two teams may have to adjust their game plan to get ready for this second half. I'm just going to mention a commentary thing that we're doing to try and raise money for the My Name's Doddy Foundation in aid of the great Doddy Weir, and of course, and the Alzheimer's Society in memory of a good friend of ours, Nigel Starmer-Smith. The commentary sheets from various commentators, myself included, are available for those that wish it on sportscommentators.com. So if you fancy a memento, be it as a player or be it as a fan, please log on to that as we try and raise as much money as possible for those redoubtable charitable causes. So two teams back up, plenty of changes I can see in the Cambridge lineup. Looks like Charlotte Lord is on wearing 22. And I think Poppy Latimer is on as well, former Blue, of course, Latimer. Started indeed at hooker last season, so changes in the Cambridge ranks as they kick off with the wind at their backs, the sun into the faces of the Oxford team.
Stay.
And a chance to see if they can do some damage now to this scoreline. Ollie Mae Brown, good strength from the number 8. Loves the number 8 apparently, he's even got it tattooed on her ribs. Good job she wasn't 15.
That's commitment, isn't it, to a position?
Yeah, I'm not changing because I've got it tattooed on my ribs. Good tackle to stop Bethan Jones.
Step away, ladies. Time off.
Jones in a bit of pain there, the Cambridge skipper. Struggling, Phoebe Jackson just stepping forward. That was a big hit.
Yeah, water can come. Ladies, there will be your scrum restart.
Not what you want to see, is it? Really bright start from Cambridge. Won the restart, really good direct go forward. And the last person you want to see down is your captain. However, a leg hyperextended in that contact and that collision. Let's hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah, and what a captain she's been. She's captained the Rugby League varsity side for the last 3 years. Also captain of the home Rugby League club Warrington, where she was born and bred. So a big experience as a leader, Bethan Jones. Another Welsh captain from Pembroke College, Amelia Bushrod, of course, for the last 2 varsity matches. Indeed, the last 6 varsities, 5 have been led by Welsh women in light blue, and that is a sad sight as Bethan Jones is helped off. Not what anybody wanted to see, whatever colours you're bearing.
Number 6. Perfect. Thank you.
Izzy Miller will take over captaincy duties as Faye Fubon, the law student from Jesus College, steps in to become a blue herself.
Stay ball, ladies. I stop for the player.
Cambridge loves the scrum!
It's a jarring tackle, I think, there on the Cambridge captain.
Bind! Set!
Hopefully she's able to recover from it. It's her scrum half Glazier who puts in and gets the call.
One bind.
Brown trying to catch Oxford, looking the other way and succeeds. Advantage call is there for the light blues if they want it. Heathfield waits out.
Did she have an impact on that play?
The winning try scorer last year from a, well, maybe a slightly closer position. There's Sarah Crozier.
Tackle release!
The Earth Sciences student from Jesus College. Jesus with plenty of representatives in both the women's and the men's varsity this season.
It's ongoing.
Just get the feeling that Cambridge need to get some points on the board to galvanise their belief, galvanise their confidence. Another call goes their way. And slightly further back. The tip-on works to Heathfield, but they will go back for that earlier call.
Captain and 8.
And I think Sophie Shams
in general. You were never onside.
is going to watch the next 10 minutes. Yes, she is. So Oxford down to 14. Opportunity knocks for the light blues.
Never onside.
Yeah, that's massive, isn't it? We talked about the wind advantage. We've obviously seen Cambridge come out with a real spark to their attack.
On it goes. The drive is there. Zoe Wright celebrates becoming a blue. The teenager does it for Cambridge. She's done it in college rowing. She's done it in mixed lacrosse. Now she's done it in rugby union. And at last, Cambridge get themselves on the board.
But it's so good, isn't it? They've been all go since they came out in this second half. Being really direct, little switch of play. Marie there, Chloe Marie on the ball first, but then look at that leg drive, power through. Brilliant, brilliant. What a great way to impact that yellow card immediately and get onto the scoreboard straight into this second half.
Ruby Jackson knows that extra points now are invaluable as she hits it round to make it a maximum 7. And suddenly this game has got a different feel to it, albeit we're only 3 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, but what a way to get yourself straight back into this game from the half.
Which way are you
They
going?
go forward like they were going to go to the corner, and then the quick hands, the quick thinking. Oxford left napping and with a player down, and they absolutely execute it.
Yep, the yellow card to Shams may have made a difference there, but Zoe Wright, the former Falerian, is certainly not going to be stopped in that sort of locale.
13.
Yvonne sets it back, and Jackson sends it downfield. Homer, plenty of time. Well, she doesn't want to look now. Oh, collides with her own team. Great work there from Charlotte Lord. Another crossover, hockey start, and the handling behind the line has hampered Oxford.
22.
And here we go. Cambridge knocking on the door once again.
Gone dead, 22. It's 22, ladies.
Or is it?
It's never grounded.
Never grounded, she said. So it's going to be...
It's 22.
I thought that came off an Oxford hand and went dead. But again, just using that wind, not overplaying in the middle of the pitch, just using the boot to push the pressure down. Really are seeing a different side to Cambridge.
Charlotte Lord and Cara Haspel. What an infusion of talent and enthusiasm they brought over from hockey. And of course tomorrow they're down the road at Southgate Hockey Club because it's the varsity hockey. It's a weekend varsity for those two.
No advantage. 14 blue, high. On the cross.
The call goes against Lena Berry for a high arm.
Yep.
Phoebe Jackson now is going to be absolutely critical for the way that the light blues and where the light blues are going to play, because with that wind behind her, she shows good shape in her kicks like that. She's going to put her team into the right positions.
Yeah, it's not an easy angle there to be able to get as much distance as you want on it, but the lovely little spiral play gets them into the Oxford 22. However,
6.
lineouts haven't been functioning
7.
the best in the first half. You wonder what changes or what discussions went on at half time to make sure they can maximise this opportunity.
This conferring to make sure the call is right. Poppy Latimer,
Blue stay.
coached by
Blue
a
stay.
certain Rachel Burford and
Blue
Leanne
stay.
Riley, apparently, back in the day.
White come in.
I didn't dare ask the 21-year-old which day that was, but Old Elanians, which can't be that far from you, I guess. Gets a good throw, kind of works. Crozier it is who picks up the rebound. Oh, actually, Morgan Warning is still out there, so they've just readjusted that front row, Cambridge. There's Brown again, getting that leg drive, but she's pickpocketed there. Couldn't quite see who took it, but in a vital transference of possession for Oxford. Duckworth trying to open up that left flank, taken to ground though by Miller. And now they break with Poppy Burrows. Emily Harris-Lovett, one of the 3 forwards who used to be backs last year. Played on the wing in the game at Iffley Road as well. Wilkinson has her kick partially charged down, and once again it allows the light blues to set themselves to put the pressure back on that dark blue defence. The roll from right continues the momentum. Jackson, Faithful Bomb made a big difference since coming on for the captain Bethan Jones. Warner not going far in midfield, but sets it back for a scrum half. Jackson gets the ricochet as well, so it's going to be a Cambridge put in just outside the 22.
Yeah.
The kite is moving in the same direction, but with different colours.
Blue, that's your mark.
Yeah, they're just activating on any opportunity, aren't they? Good pressure at the charge down on the box kick to get the possession back. You just see that they're organising, being patient with the ball in hand. Not a bad option to try and thread it through to the corner. Still in a great attacking opportunity here. What can they do from this line out?
Again, it's a ricochet that falls into the hands of Wright and Crozier. But now Oxford find themselves with the ball. Don't forget, Oxford still down a player with Shams in the sin bin. Haynes out to Burrows. Burrows, Berry opens up. Can Cambridge get their tackles in? Good work from Briar Smith. She had to make sure that Berry was taken to ground there. And for the first time in this second half, Oxford go into opposition territory. There's Duckworth. The power of Ducky Duckworth, so prominent with ball in hand. Wilkinson sees a gap. Hamer's there. Hamer goes round the opposite number. And Oxford respond to that Cambridge try with a well-worked score from the fullback.
As a quality team try, all started down this right-hand wing. Brilliant break from Berry to get right into the half of Cambridge, and then the recycling on the ball, the speed, and then Duckworth. You don't want to give her any time or space on the ball, because as she gets motoring, and then here, really smart play. Brilliant work from Wilkinson just to pick that up, but also Hammer also thinking on the same exact radar, right on the shoulder, and then the lovely arc on the outside to beat her opposite number.
Simple rugby now from Alex Wilkinson. Just pull the tackler in, set the ball up, fall back on her shoulder, and a good finish it was from Lucy Hamer, as you say, with that arcing run to take her around Briar Smith, but really good response from the Dark Blues.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, Cambridge desperately trying to get round the breakdown because of the work that Duckworth had done. Really fooled them, and good scanning from the 9. That's what you want your 9 to be doing, looking in and around the breakdown. Where's the opportunity? Where's the space?
You're going right.
And then Lucy Hammer picks it off with her.
So, not that we've got bonus points this afternoon, but 4 tries in the bag for the Dark Blues. Cara Stromstead winds it up. Wilkinson, Hawley gets the offload in to Harris Lovett. Burrows cuts back in now. Has the wind changed direction, metaphorically? Hawley out to Zagda. Duckworth in as the first receiver. Hawley kicks it on when she had a two-player overlap on this near side. Good work from Bryce Smith. The biotechnology student from Clare College does well there. Ella Heathfield winds it up. Says her prowess is cutting and sticking. For anybody who remembers Blue Peter, that was unnecessary skills. And Cambridge making the most of that slight fumble from Katie Haynes to get themselves back into the Oxford half as Sophie Shams returns to the play.
Yeah, just Phoebe Jackson again, recognising there's a bit of space in the backfield.
No, thank you.
Makes the winger have to turn, which then makes it challenging to be able to judge.
We've got a player in the line out down.
An awkward ball to bring back in for the left winger.
Hands off, ladies.
As I said before, the kicking of Jackson is so important with the way or the positions that Cambridge are trying to play in. Looks to me like Bryce Smith is down this near side. Let's see beyond the attendees there. Yes, it is the Cambridge fullback. Sky's always the limit. Presumably Sky Stewart-Roberts.
Strike move from the 15.
Back from injury last year, the Truro College alumni. Smith is able to continue. That's good news. Stromstead just gets a little bit of patching up.
Time's back on.
Heathfield takes the short one at the front. Dozier. He's been involved in the Sale Centre of Excellence, Lancashire age groups as well. Jackson gets the call from Brown.
Tackle release!
She's played her rugby at Sudbury Rugby Club there in Suffolk. Nice hands from Warner. Almost a show and go from the hooker there. Right. Becoming more and more influential in these broken phase plays. Alice out. No way through there.
No hands!
On the bench last year, of course, the Arsenal fan. She's a big runner. Runs for Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers here, so if she circumvents the pitch at any point, then maybe she's forgotten what sport she's in. Brown spots an opportunity.
Tackle!
Downtown. Yvonne trying to clear the ball out. Cambridge loading on that short right flank. Now again, cuts back in. Went to school not far from here, Henrietta Barnett School, up there in Hampstead. Jackson. Miller. The passing just not quite accurate enough between Haspel and Lord
no
there.
Advantage.
But the intent and the ambition certainly good, and certainly shows Cambridge in a different light in this second half.
Yeah, it really does. I just wonder if they could speed up that breakdown just slightly.
There's middle for
They're making some really good ground. Ali Mae Brownfoot, so physical, really direct, gets them on the front foot, but then the ball slowed down, which just allows Oxford to be able to recycle, get their width and put pressure on.
Charlotte Lord scored that first try of this season for the Light Blues in the game against Swansea. 6 games in, so no doubt that did them good just to see some points on the board. The crossover hockey engineering student from Girton College, along with Haspel. They're both on the same course. Haspel was involved with the Tigers last year. Lord has only been playing with the oval ball since, I think, October time.
Just there.
We saw
Thank you.
at half-time Deborah Griffin, the RFU Senior Vice President. By the time we get to the autumn this year, she will be president, and we will have the Women's World Cup going on. Big, big opportunity for the women's game.
Yeah, it's such a huge year, isn't it? We know what's coming in August. It all kicks off up north, which is another factor to this Rugby World Cup, is the fact it's being played all around the country, trying to bring in new fans, take the game around the country. Such an exciting time, with plenty of teams wanting to lift that trophy, and England being one of those who are red hot favourites.
I love Ali Mae Brown. Look at her dancing queen, playing number 8 for Cambridge. Yeah, go. That's a warm-up you want to do.
But the coaches are thinking, as long as you win this scrum, I don't mind you dancing.
They've got to win it now, haven't they?
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Frella Glazier, as she's known. And Brown picks up and goes looking for something in midfield. Here's the two Oxford centres are New Blues rookies.
All on!
Great take from Lucy Hamer, but she's running away and going to get tracked. Good work from Haspel there. And good work from Shams to try and release the pressure on the dark blue line. Haynes sets it back. There's Shams once again.
No!
Surprising not to see Sophie Shams on the scoreboard yet. Scored a hat-trick against Bristol. Scored a hat-trick against Cambridge, indeed, in that Iffley Road game on 22nd of January.
Backwards, lifted.
Ubom really has made an impact since coming off the bench, Faith Ubom.
Good.
She's 22 years of age and showing really well in the minutes she's had in this year's varsity thus far. Phoebe Jackson waits until Ubom and co. There she is, get into midfield. Jackson trying to keep things moving. Good pick up from Latimer.
No, release.
Glazier. Heathfield and Wright combining well in midfield. They get the call.
It's on the floor, must release.
Pick up from Brown again. Oxford not looking, and Ali Mae Brown catches them. Deep into the 22, ball goes loose. And I think Oxford have just managed to save their skins on that one.
Yeah, Oxford really need to rise up to that. Every time there's been a penalty, Ali Mae Brown is straight on it, getting some steam built up before they even recognise that she's gone. Yeah, same with Cambridge though, you've got to recognise that, you've got to get with her to secure that ball.
Option.
What's the coach's rule? Always run backwards from a penalty.
They'll always be scanning.
Sophie Shams feeds out to Madison
Knock
Quigg.
on advantage.
Quigg loses it in the
Scott
contact,
only.
and it's Latimer who picks
No
things up.
advantage, knock on.
Madison Quigg just
White
unable
scrum.
to get the ball through the tackle there.
Yeah.
Chan's been good, hasn't she? Carried a lot, done a
We
lot
can
of the
start to
hard
know
work
she's
in
on
and
the
around the
flank.
breakdown. And she's just got such subtle hands, little show and go there to feed.
Players, we can
Unfortunately,
start
the
to
error
build.
comes in.
They're on the flank.
You can tell that she's a real leader of this team, even without the
Form
captaincy.
scrum.
It's the experience, isn't it? We talked about the
Yes,
8, 9,
please.
10, and the 8 and 9 in particular. Thus far, we've seen a lot from Wilkinson and Shams. Last year's captain and this year's captain have combined well in the the spine of the way Oxford have won them. As you rightly say, Beth, with the handling ability that Sophie Shams has from her midfield days, her centre days, there is a variety in the way that she can play. Coming up to the hour mark now, and the 2-score difference between Cambridge and Oxford. Played 37, Oxford have won 21 of those, 15 for the Light Blues, and that one draw, when was that? That 10-all draw back in 2022.
Roll now, White. She's away.
And Shams trying to get some width on it now through Burrows. Out it goes to Haynes. Good tracking though from Carmen Embil. Well, family and friends watching in Spain will have enjoyed that.
Your penalty advantage.
Penalty call is there for the Dark Blues should they need it. Lucy Hamer invited to sit down.
No advantage, 14 White, high. Thank you. Yep.
I thought it was a tough call there. Just looked like she got round by the shoulder, not over
Tackle
it.
height needs to come down, White.
We see
Tackle
Cambridge
height
are putting together some really nice plays.
She's
That
not
one
on
off
the
the
way,
scrum
so you
there,
can
but
go.
the speed to the breakdown just isn't quick enough, and you've got the likes of Stoner, Duckworth, Shams, all very quick and over the ball. You've got to be able to clear those threats out, so you've got to get your support in closer.
Substitute.
Well, Michelle Zegda's day is done. And what a day it's been. Sophie Goodman will become a Blue now, as Michelle Zegda says goodbye to Varsity Rugby, and a hugely impressive hour it has been from the American.
Yeah, she's been absolutely class, been really physical,
She
really
skips
direct.
off. Love it.
Still got lots of energy. But yeah, she's been really, really good for the Oxford Blues today. As I said, just bringing that physicality, being direct. A couple of brilliant line breaks as well. Got a team on the front foot, so she can come off the pitch smiling and proud of her performance.
She is positively beaming as her teammates come to thank her for her efforts, not only today, of course, but in previous matches as well. Great to see, and always good to see the different ingredients that the varsity holds, both in men's and women's games. So many nationalities involved, people who are so keen to come over the waters from whatever country and take part and say, I've played in a varsity.
Yeah, it's so enriched, isn't it, in history. And even though the women are slightly behind on those history numbers, they're making their own, and as you say, it's making it attractive opportunity as part of it. It's part of the occasion today.
Nice to be able to say the sun is a problem for the fans. Basking on that far side. As the game moves into the final quarter, with Oxford in control on the scoreboard, but Cambridge have certainly come back into the match since half-time.
Knock on advantage. Scrum only.
Charlotte Lloyd
9-15.
just able to pick up that loose ball. Coach Burford says kick it, so Phoebe Jackson does.
Advantage over. Hold that mark.
The wind behind the kick is going to take it dead.
Captain, scrum or 22?
There was good recognition
Back
from
from the
Jackson
kick or
again, just on the
22?
turnover. Nobody from Oxford
Scrum
Blue
called.
had dropped into the backfield, so
Scrum
it's the
back
right
from the
option.
kick.
But you've got to be aware of how strong your own boot is, and then with the wind on top of that.
Kicked it away. They've called scrum.
Just thinking about Michelle
Gone dead.
Zegda and
Scrum or 22
how
is
much
their
she
option.
has obviously loved the experience. You look at the social side of this as well as just what's on the pitch, and you know, Cambridge have had their trip to Amsterdam, they had their glamping weekend at Thetford. Oxford have been out and about as well.
Crouch!
It's all the things that are around the game that make such a difference to the whole experience, the whole camaraderie.
Ladies, it's come straight out.
Yeah, it's one thing that rugby does do very, very well is socials. If you've got a strong social committee. But you're right, it's not just about the playing opportunity part, it's about everything that encompasses around that, the friendships that you make, the experiences that you go through that really do. You talk to many people who have played in this historical game, they'll always recite back to moments like that, teammates that they played with that they're still in contact with now today. It really is something special to be part of.
And I refer back to that Phoebe Jackson quote. It's like a team that never stops being a team, and I think that really sets things up as Hawley takes Oxford up to the Cambridge 22. Shams drives into Crozier, the former Durham University student. Stays firm. Duckworth gets the leg drive going, just a few extra metres. Options right and left for Wilkinson. Penalty call, Wilkinson goes quickly. Hawley's on her shoulder.
No release.
Hawley slaloms inside one, inside another, and gets the try down. And that, you feel, with 16 minutes to go, could well be the deciding try in this year's varsity.
Well, Hawley really does deserve that. Initiated the break on the outside to get them into a really strong position. But again, that quick thinking from Wilkinson. Look how many Cambridge players are right on top of her, so she knows that she can run with at least 10 metres without being touched. And Hawley, again, right on her shoulder, recognises it and then gets over.
10, you can step in line with the player.
The vital 5th try for the Dark Blues. Chloe Marie Hawley, multi-sportswoman that she is, Blues at basketball, football and of course rugby, and now looking to just cement the advantage. And there's the first successful conversion from the boot. Hawley raises her arms in celebration. And now with that 20-point buffer, you would think the Dark Blues have this game in their control.
Just looking at again, just Wilkinson being really lively around the breakdown, being aware. And like any good 9-10 combination, they're on the same wavelength.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure there must be a stat somewhere that says most kickers who score a try always manage to convert it.
Added extra oomph.
Time's on.
Well, she's enjoyed the moment, and why shouldn't she? Again, benches now being evacuated to make sure that Blues are there for all those, especially on the benches, because there's a 23-player squad in the varsity, 22 in the Bucks League. Great pick up from Berry.
Yeah.
Drive on from Stuart Roberts.
Ball's available, stay white. Backwards.
Shams trying to get the extra width. Looks like Izzy Hedges is on there in the Oxford second row, so she's now a Blue, a fresher who's moved from wing to second row this season.
If you push me 9, it's into the way of play.
Quid sidles past the attempted tackle of Caris Weatherhog, who's also into the mix now. Came up. Feeds out to Stuart Roberts.
No hands!
This Oxford back row has got plenty of pace to it, given the opportunity as the game breaks down.
White, I need to see you on your feet.
May see them more prominent with ball in hand. Hawley. A little kick through from Wilkinson, but that's gone straight out.
Straight out. Yep.
Yeah, probably Wilkinson probably wasn't
White,
expecting
50.
that ball back from Shams.
Sub.
Has just forced a kick there, nothing contemplate.
Lucy Newton-Ingham on for her blue, replacing Brian Smith. Looks, I think, that Carmen Embil will go to fullback to allow Newton-Ingham onto the right wing. A serial napper was the notes I got about Lucy. Apparently she can fall asleep anywhere, preferably not on the right wing this afternoon.
They're on their mark.
That's a
You
great
come up
skill to
meter.
have, though.
They're on their mark, you step in.
Latimer. Been playing rugby now for 8 years, Poppy Latimer.
Backwards.
Old Elanians Rugby Club. Familiar face down there. Scrappy ball that Oxford rescue. Hawley out to Burrows. Haynes steps in one. Jackson shuts the door in her face, but the ball's still there for the Dark Blues. Stuart Roberts. This game beginning to break up, and as I said, 6, 7 and 8 of Oxford, and 4 Madison Quigg has plenty of athletic ability as well. Tori Kennedy played for the Panthers last year, now gets her full blue. Harris Lovett.
No, White.
Oh, the little step through, how did that happen? Berry. Good tackle from Embil, had to stop, make that happen.
Knocked on the floor there.
That is a try-saving tackle
Scrum,
from Embil. No question about that. Abrelo doing her job.
Haynes almost paused, didn't she? Just to check that she was allowed to go through.
You cannot put hands in.
I reckon if she just kept her head down, she probably would have made it. But brilliant last-ditch tackle there. And the work rate from forwards to get in and over the ball, which forces that error. It's exactly what you want to see. No matter how far behind you are, you want to see that fight.
Not in the way of play. No, ladies, spilled.
Well, Annie Mae Brown is down in back play behind the posts.
Let's build.
But referee is saying scrum can set up.
Yep, it is. She's the 8. Time off.
Ah, now she's realised what numbers she's got on her back. Well, last season, for those of you that were with us or watching with us, it was a tense arm wrestle of an affair that ended up 10-5, which was the half-time score. It's been anything but that this season. We've seen plenty of really good tries from both teams, and particularly from the Dark Blues. And that is why, as we move into the final 10 minutes of this game, they are in charge of this year's varsity. Closure. Jackson trying to move it out. Yeah, just tackled there by Burrows.
Lost blue on the floor.
Fresh out from Christchurch. Has had a good game, Poppy Burrows. Both with ball in hand and in defence.
Hold 12 White.
The boot away is going to invite Oxford to come back at some pace, you would think. Good tackle from Miller.
Release.
That's a brilliant tackle, completely stopped it dead.
Must roll. 6 White must roll.
Then they're penalised for not rolling away. Pity. Hard work had been done.
Scrum called. Scrum called. Yep. Blue 11. Sub.
Well, Katie
11.
Haynes' day is done. It's going to bring on Kat Vincent.
And White 2. White 2. White 2. Sub.
As is Morgan Warner. Big Nods is in the building. Nadia Chidochi comes on for her blue. All the men watching down in front of us. There's a real unity in the rugby clubs and in both camps.
Crouch! Set!
Wilkinson throws long. Hawley hanging out in a wider channel, but tracked down. I think that was Charlotte Lord getting the tackle in, but there's opportunity on this right wing as a consequence.
Stay.
Shams again in as that first receiver.
Thank you, White.
That is a great take from Estella Muka. Didn't know it was coming. Great hands from the loose head. Takes Oxford into the 22 once again. Hawley trying to sidle away through the tackle. Taken down though by Glazier, but it's still there for the Dark Blues. Stuart Roberts. Duckworth. Duckworth senses an opportunity.
Stay down.
She's such a menace, isn't she, when she's got ball in hand.
Shams fends off one, fends off two, drives within 4 metres. Wilkinson, Hawley has loads of numbers outright.
No hands, White. No
There's
hands.
3 Oxford players hanging on the right wing
Lifted,
with no
yes.
tacklers in front of them. Now Cambridge try and cover it. Quigg cannot get the ball out. The moment's
She's
gone,
won.
I think.
Managed to turn it over.
Chloe Marie Hawley
Spurs down.
missing an opportunity there.
But your scrum going
Not
forward.
scanning quickly enough, and an opportunity
Yep.
for her
Subs
team
will be
to
your scrum.
get another try on the
Blue
board.
1, blue 7 subs.
Yeah, you could see that Burrows was
1-7
screaming for the
blue
ball.
subs.
There's a clear opportunity. 4-on-1 down that right-hand side.
Yes.
Great work again from Cambridge. We've seen them do this throughout the game. Just stay in that fight, force some errors. I think it's Sophie Sham that's getting a bit of attention down. She's been brilliant, hasn't she? Yet again, another year, another standout performance from her. Just her work rate around the field has been immense.
Yes, very influential with the way that Oxford have played. Oxford debutants coming on. Margit Williams on into the dark blue front row, and Liv Rosin in as well. She goes into the back row. Reservist who's just signed up to become an army officer after uni, so she's going to make the most of these 7 minutes of varsity life. Wearing the 21 jersey this afternoon.
Are you making a sub?
It's looking at
Okay.
big nods. Nadia Chiterchi describes herself as quarter Iraqi, quarter Guyanese and half boring. That's tough, even for a front rower, that's boring. She loves rhinos and
White
rocks.
scrum.
Apparently her oldest rock is 3.5 billion years old. Been around a long time.
Ouch! Bind! Set!
Yeah, Annie Mae Brown has also come off, I think. Looking to see who's gone on for Cambridge. Indeed, whether they're down to
Stay.
14. Berth, can you count and see how many they've got? They may have, I think they've used all their bench, so that's why I'm questioning.
Chrissy, just
Is that, can I count to 15?
Yeah, well, you never could as a centre, so as any fullback that played outside you,
Thank you.
testament to.
Yeah, it looks like they've only got 14 on the pitch. I'm sure Annie Mae Brown didn't want to come off, but unfortunately has been forced to. She's been great as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Some real standout performance on both sides.
Cambridge are having to play the last 6 minutes. A player down. Well, they've got that lady there, Faithu Bomb. They've got plenty of zest about their play. Ball back in Oxford clutches as Madison Quigg has a look. Just rolling the wrong way there and almost ceding possession.
No six. In the side.
Izzy Miller coming in at the side, and here goes Sophie Shams. Poorly. Looking to get the offload in. Huge numbers to the left for Oxford. Here they go, take your pick. No way through for Kat Vincent.
Hands and feet. Like spin. Tackle release.
Hawley, and here it goes, Burrows. Oh, good tackle. Again,
No advantage.
another Oxford try goes a missing. To be fair to Poppy Burrows, the tackle came in very quickly from the Cambridge defender, but again, just not able to make the most of opportunity.
Yeah, and I think even then you've got to recognise you're not going to be able to get that ball away, so just recycle, quick round the corner. The opportunity may have still been there. They managed to look after the ball.
Bind! Set!
Cambridge desperate to run from deep, try and get up the other end. No way through though for Haspel on that occasion. Jackson, an inadvertent show and go then. She does really well to get away from her own try line.
All on!
Berry. Again, Oxford with numbers out. Again, very good tackling coming in from Haspel.
Really important tackle there from Haspel. Massive overlap and opportunity gone again for Oxford.
Hawley. No, the ball's gone forward, and again,
Just gone forward.
the transference of the ball not happening for Oxford. They've had so many opportunities to trot over for tries, and they haven't made the most of it.
Sub.
Yeah, it's one of those things thinking, do I take that half a gap or is there a bigger gap on the outside for a teammate? Just releasing the ball, let the ball do the work. You've done the damage and there's now space on that outside. You don't need to run or invite yourself into there. Shift the ball to that space to allow, we've seen what the back three for Oxford can do today. Give them a chance, give them some open space.
Well, we've got the Player of the Match award going to be happening shortly. The Bunting Peggers Award, of course, the two pioneering captains back in 1988. Some contestants there. Well, the two eights we've already mentioned, Shams and Brown, have been very influential for their sides. But would you like to make the announcement, Rach?
Straight across.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think Shams has been excellent for Oxford today. Really busy, really influential in a lot of plays. Got that opening score for them. But I think one lady who has been exceptional every time she's got the ball in hand, made such great progress and yards.
Advantage knock on.
Which is Tolu Duckworth, real handful in the loose, really dynamic and powerful, and she is our player of the match.
Yeah, Tolu Duckworth will receive the award after the game. And I'll make mention of Michelle Zegder as well, her front row partner, because she is another one that seems to have been everywhere through the course of this game.
No advantage, coming back for the knock-on.
Yep. And that young lady, Zoe Wright, as well,
Blue
who's
three.
had a very impressive debut in Varsity World.
No, she hasn't. Apologies, Captain, told me wrong information. It's okay.
Lucy McBride on for her blue. And as if on cue.
Good timing.
Couldn't be planned it that way. Not.
Yeah, she sprinted off the pitch, so athletic. She's had a really good game, really put Oxford into some really brilliant positions this afternoon that they've been able to capitalise on.
Yeah, the sixth-year medic really enjoying the moment. She scored captain. She was captain in a couple of tries in that game at Iffley Road against Cambridge at the end of January, and she's damaged them again, although not on the scoreboard this time. But the work of the Oxford front row in particular, I had Estelle and Walker in that one along with Zegda and Duckworth, has been so impressive and so important as well.
Here we are. I need to see you go straight, not straight across. Blue, your mark. Just step. Up here. Up here. You step. So that's their mark. I'm back.
Final minute of this contest. Maybe, just maybe, a chance for Cambridge to find a little bit of feel good with the last play. No way through for Embil there. She does well to stay strong in the contact.
Stay.
Crozier. So Crozier, a black belt in kickboxing, so a very useful athlete. Jackson, another one who's had an impressive game.
Still
That
live.
occasion not quite finding the angle she was after.
Again, not a bad option from Jackson, just probably put a bit too much on it.
You set a meter.
Certainly was a little kick to herself, trying to exploit some time and some space in behind, but unfortunately it's gone into touch, and now it's likely that Oxford are going to have the last say in this game.
Some more! Through the mark.
Good take and good systems. Oxford, Wilkinson sends it off, and her dark blue team can celebrate. They've reversed what happened last year and done it in fine style as well, running in a handful of tries. They were never behind on the scoreboard. They got the 15-0 lead at half-time. It looked like Cambridge might turn things round with the assistance of the elements, but credit to the Oxford women, because they ran in 2 more tries to make sure they held the buffer there. And it is Oxford who take this year's women's varsity with that final score that reads Oxford University 27, Cambridge University 7. Well, that scoreline more similar to the last time Oxford won, which was 2 years ago, of course, 31-12 on that occasion. And with the Pumas, with the Panthers winning as well, it means that Oxford dominate this year's varsity from a female perspective. Let's get down pitch side and find out who Bryn Lucas has got. Bryn?
Thanks very much, Simon. I'm joined by the winning captain here, Alex Wilkinson. It was a great match. It was tougher than we thought it might have been. We set this one up thinking it might be a bit of a rout out there. It didn't turn out to be that way.
No, Cambridge really came out fighting, but I'm so proud of my girls. We stuck in it till the end. We really put in a big defensive shift, and I think that won us the game.
When you went in at half-time, 15-0 in the lead, what was the team talk going on? Because Cambridge came out almost a different team in that second half.
We just said that we couldn't get complacent. We know Cambridge are really good and really gritty, and so we said we had to come out like we were losing this game and win it again.
What does it mean to you? This is your final one, isn't it? What does it mean? You've now got a winning record, 2-1 now.
Yeah, it means a lot. Captaining these girls all year has been a privilege, and for my last game in dark blue, I couldn't ask for anything better than to be with them and be on this pitch winning today.
Well, look, it's a photo opportunity. You go and join your winning teammates, and I'm going to jump over to Bethan. Well done there to Alex Wilkinson. Bethan is here. Bethan, it didn't go the way you'd hoped, but I tell you what, in the lead up to this, our conversation we had about how this was going to go, you put a real strong account of yourselves towards Oxford.
Yeah, after such a difficult season, we just wanted to leave it all out there on the pitch, and I think that's what we did. I'm so proud of every single girl that got on that pitch. They gave it their all, they ran hard, they tackled hard, and it doesn't go our way, but I think we can still be happy with how we performed.
The first 5 or 10 minutes or so, you were really pushed under the cosh, and you managed to come out fighting a bit more, and it was until the 20th minute before there was a final score on the board, or a first score on the board. Going in at 15-0 at half-time, what was the team talk?
So we were really happy with our first 20 minutes. We knew that we dropped off a bit. We weren't pulling the width in defence. And I think when we came back out after half-time, we'd fixed the mistakes that we were making. It was just a shame that they'd already got that far up.
In the second half, though, you came out, as I said to Alex a few moments ago, Cambridge came out almost a different team. It was like you've been drinking a lot of nice isotonic drinks in there.
Yeah, it wasn't just the energy drinks. I think the chats from the coaches, hopefully the chat from me, kind of gave the girls another spur of inspiration. I mean, we've played Oxford twice this year, and that's the best performance we've put out against them. It was obviously really frustrating for me to go down with my knee, but hopefully it's fine, and a bittersweet end to my last game for Cambridge, but I'm still so proud of those girls.
And so you should be. Well done. I know you didn't win, but well done. It was a great game to watch, so congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There you go, Simon. So both captains there, very happy for their own individual work and the team around them too. But back to you. We'll have a bit of a chat, a debrief after this one. Back to you for now.
Thank you, Bryn. Yes, in many ways sad to see class characters like those two captains, Bethan Jones and Alex Wilkinson, departing the varsity world, but that is the way that the varsity works, and Bethan in particular knows that this is the beginning of a new cycle of players within the light blue ranks. We'll see how the dark blue ranks turn up in a year's time, no doubt, but the smiles on the faces say it all. It's such a big moment for these young ladies, and so impressive as the dark blues set up their tunnel for their opposition. You see the tries from this game. Katie Haynes getting a brace to put her team into the driving seat. There's the camaraderie that is so special to this game, so special to varsity as well. Before this, Oxford had won only 2 out of the last 10 Battle of the Blues, so a very important victory for those from Oxford. And as Bryn mentioned, the Cambridge girls can be mighty proud of the performance they put in. They've really upped the ante over the last, 3 games or so. Win over Swansea at the end of January, and then the performance against the 88s, and it's really gone again to a different level in this one. Not enough to beat Oxford, but they've done really, really well to really put on a very impressive performance in this year's women's varsity. It was an engaging contest, certainly the beginning of that second half. You see the try from Lila Berry at the end of that first half, the artful dodger on the Oxford right wing, with plenty of pace and opportunity there to run in for the third try, which gave them that 15-0 lead at the turnaround. And there is Alex Wilkinson. There's the trophy lift, there is the celebration. It's going to be a long, long night. It's probably going to be a long weekend. But my goodness me, those girls have deserved it with the impressive performance that we've seen from the team from Oxford University. The girls from Grange Road really have moved themselves on, and Will Cottrell and Johnny Andrews, the coaches, will be pleased in many ways with what they've seen out there this afternoon. There we see that Cambridge try scored by the 18-year-old second row, Zoe Wright. And that seemed to give Cambridge just a bit of belief that they could get themselves back into this game. It wasn't to be because of this try from Hawley, and then following up with the final try. In fact, that was Hamer, wasn't it? That was the fullback, Lucy Hamer. Beautifully constructed, deft handling from the Blues, dark Blues skipper. And then this was the one that finished things off with the two halfbacks going, right, let's go quickly. And Hawley slaloming her way through to get the 5th try. So that was it. Great performance from Oxford. The winning of the Bunting Peggers Award for Player of the Match went to the Oxford University tight head, Tolu Duckworth, and I think Bryn has got her down pitch side now.
Thanks very much, Simon. Yes, indeed we do. She's here. She just wants to go and celebrate with her team. I know she does, but Tolu, that was a fantastic performance. You have won the award, the Player of the Match award that's so important to everybody. What's it mean to you to win this award then?
It means a lot because this is my last game in Dark Blues, so to end on a high note, it's a really, really amazing feeling, so I'm so glad to do it for the Dark Blues.
Well, have a look at the trophy, the award itself, the Bunting Peggers Award here, Player of the Match. Hand it over to you. And whilst you have a look at it, let's get a word from Tamara. Tamara, what was it that really allowed Tulu to win this one?
Honestly, your ball carrying, we spoke about it today. You never stopped your leg drive. You got so much ground for Oxford, but you kept working. We often say, don't we, that front rows to play 80 minutes. It's a tough old game, lifting, scrummaging, so it was the work rate as well. Fantastic stuff. Look, you rush over to your team now and go and get that trophy and celebrate as well, but well done to you. Well done. Simon, back to you. We'll have a word afterwards as well, I'm sure, from the panel here. So we've just been told that Simon's not standing by now, so we'll have a chat while the trophy presentation's going on there, ladies. It was an impressive performance from Oxford, but also from Cambridge. I'll come to you in a moment about that performance, because we set this one up at the start, didn't we, thinking it could be a bit of a rout. It certainly didn't turn out to be that way tomorrow. No, and Cambridge really came out of the blocks. I think we all turned to each other at the first 5 minutes of that second half saying, right, if they can play like this, it's going to put a heck of a lot of pressure on Oxford. They ran out of gas a little bit, I think, probably as the game went on. Fresh legs came on, but maybe a little bit more inexperience came on from Cambridge there. But it was a good game. It was a really good game. Certainly was. Rachel, up in the commentary, you have to pass the mic around here, but up in the commentary, it looked like it was 15-0 at half-time. It was all done and dusted, but Cambridge came out with a bit between their teeth and really then started to force things a bit more, and they got some traction with the yellow card and the 10 minutes off there for Sophie Shams. Yeah, they really did come out the blocks in the second half. I don't know what was said at half-time, but also playing with the wind gave them a really good advantage, playing in the right area of the field, and then they capitalised on that opportunity. Their player down, really quick thinking. The number 8, Ali Marie, I've forgotten her set. Brown, sorry, was absolutely outstanding. She was such a warrior for her team today, getting them on the front foot, and it's all from her work rate that got them back into that game. But then, unfortunately, as Tamara said, just started to slip away at that point. The fatigue, but also that inexperience, then just started to mount up, and then you saw Oxford come through. Certainly did, and she had to go off at the end, didn't she, for the last 10 minutes or so they were down to 14, which makes it even harder for Cambridge. But for yourself then, looking at this one, Anna, it was a very strong performance. They came back in the second half. It looked like, oh hello, there was opportunities, and there were opportunities until Oxford scored that decisive blow. Yeah, as my colleagues have just said, when you've got sort of some key ball carriers like Ali Mae Brown, she's putting in a lot of effort, and it's a lot to ask the same person to go again and again. And unfortunately for Cambridge, they had their captain come off with a knee injury as well. So those sorts of injuries and all of that hard work and spending a lot of time defending does take its toll. So Oxford were able to capitalise on that. They found some gaps and scored some points in the last 10 minutes or so to take it
it away.
Yeah, and it was a decent account for both teams. I think as we saw that the Oxford were starting to open them up a bit more as the game went on. Fatigue coming in, as you rightly say there, Rachel, as well. But International Women's Day, as we know, set up quite nicely, wasn't it? I think out there, those 30 plus women on the pitch made a really, really strong account of themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great occasion, and they're well aware how lucky, how privileged they are to play in a fantastic varsity match like this. And so I think, you know, they'll be aware of that kind of example that they want to give as well, especially in a home World Cup year. And we hope that people will continue to watch rugby, support the varsity match, but also looking ahead to our World Cup.
I'm sure people will be tuning in droves now, but thank you very much to our esteemed panel. Thank you for watching as well. That's it for the women here. Anyway, from the StoneX, we'll be back in around about 55 minutes for kickoff for the men's game. Make sure you tune in, but from all of us, thanks for watching. We'll see you next year.
There's a rhythm to things done right. It's not flash or fancy. It's work that weathers, bears. And through life seasons, there's the test of waiting, of seeing if old tricks can hold pace with the new. And it is then, and then, and then again, that those made well sustain. You see, good work bears its teeth to the clock. Better work is assured by it.